Hi, this is Christopher Jones with Authentic Leader, and today we're actually at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. It's a beautiful museum. It's actually world class. You could spend a day here, and I'm actually up here at the top here where obviously there is a fountain behind me, so my hope is that you'll be able to hear me well enough. So in the last video, I really did talk about block timing and putting the most important activities first in your calendar, really before the week even begins. I really do that exercise, specifically in the area of exercise. I will pick 3 times at least in the week where I will block physical exercise, where I will go running, or I'll go bicycling, or I'll go to the gym and exercise workout like that guy just went by. I wonder if he has his block timing for exercise. But I also schedule things like business development, time in my office to do business development, or networking and connecting with people one-on-one. It's really easy to make those things lower priorities, but those are the things that are going to move the needle forward. Before I begin the day, I always make a to-do list. And when I say always, I mean always. I always have a list of things that need to be done at some point today. I simply go through that list and I list it out. I don't think about the priority or the order. I get that out of my brain, because I find that when I know I have to do something, if I don't get it written down, it just takes up cycle time in my brain, and that takes up time that I could be using for thinking about more important things. But I'll simply will just list it all out. Don't worry about the priority. And I will even sometimes, and I always do, look back at yesterday, because sometimes this happens where I did not complete all that I expected to accomplish yesterday. And when doing that, I don't automatically just forward that on to the next day. I determine which one of those things are going to make it onto my schedule and my to-do list for today. And then what I do is I go through my to-do list and I put them into 3 labels, if you will. Always one of 3 labels. Every single to-do list has to have this. First one are those things that are the highest priorities. These are priorities or actions that absolutely must happen today. When I say must happen, it means I cannot end my day. I cannot go to sleep tonight without making sure that these items are completed today. Now, I keep that list to anywhere from 1 to 3 activities each day. I find that there's always at least one thing that I have to accomplish today. And you have at least one thing as well. If you don't, you got to look a little further, because that's the thing that's going to help you get forward and get ahead. So you're being proactive rather than reactive. But I also find that if I have more than 3, it's just simply too many things. The next actions on my to-do list are things that are high priority. These are things that really, they need to be done today. These are typically my proactive activities, the things that, boy, if I could accomplish these things, they really would truly move the needle. They are not literally the fire happening in my backyard right now today. So if they didn't get done today, it might be okay to let that go to the next day. But I'm making a commitment that these are the things I want to keep in front of me, and I need to accomplish these things today. And then the last label are really what I call low priority. These are things that simply, they need to get done at some time, but they don't need to happen at a specific time. They just really when I have time and when I can insert them. Typically these things require little effort, or they might be things that just simply don't take too much time. And I can squeeze those in between appointments. I might go to an appointment, I'll get there maybe a little early, or the person that I'm meeting with is not quite ready. Well, I can look at my to-do list and I can see those low priority things and what's something I can knock out like in the next 5 minutes real quick here and just get it crossed off. So typically that's what those types of items are. Once I have everything on my to-do list in one of these 3 labels, I then go through and identify, okay, let's look at the first label first. And I'll put a number behind each one of those. So I literally will sequentially order them, and I'll say, this is the first thing of my highest priorities. Here's the second, and then if there's a third, here's the third thing that must happen today. And then I'll go through the next one, which is the high priority. Not necessarily have to be done today, but I'm committing to making sure I do them. I really like to get them done. And I will then go through 1, 2, 3, 4. So literally put those in order. And then lastly, those things that are low priority, I will then put those in order, 1, 2, and 3. And once you do this a few times, you actually get very efficient at it and gets very quick. But once you have it, also, you literally have a list at a glance. Depending on what time you have or what it is you need to be doing right now, you can glance at it very quickly and know right now what's the next thing I need to do. I like to step this up a notch if you want to be kind of like Emerald. And to step it up a notch is I plan my day the night before. So before I go to bed, I will do that prioritization where I will label everything and then put the numbers next to each one of those labels. And what I find happens is that there's a certain level of magic that happens when you sleep on it. Since you've already gone through your list and you know what you're going to be doing tomorrow, there's processing that happens while you're unconscious, and many times I'll wake up in the morning and I will have an amazing epiphany or a terrific idea of something that applies to one of my actions that I'm already doing today. So simply having that in my mind and going through that action or activity, it really does create some soak time, and I'll wake up with just amazing discoveries because I've had time to rest on it. Take those highest priorities, it's 1, 2, or maybe 3 things that I've got that I've already predetermined when I was brave that must be accomplished today, and I will schedule them and see when will I accomplish those in my calendar today. Because I've already determined I can't go to sleep at night, so I might as well go through and look at my calendar to determine when will those things actually happen today. Now let's talk a little bit about planning, because I've heard them all, right? I work with a lot of leaders, and there are some who will really resist this planning. And I'll hear things like people will say, you know, I just don't like planning, or I'm not good at planning, or I don't like the restriction that planning gives me. I like to be able to be more free spirit, and when the moment hits me, to be able to take action on that. And I got to tell you that if you're saying those things, I'm just going to tell you, those are excuses. They're excuses for not planning and not being more effective, because you're struggling. I can tell you right now that we're all struggling. We all wish we could accomplish more. You give this a sophomore try and really put some energy into this and see how this can fit for you. Don't do it necessarily exactly as I talk about here, but give it that sophomore try, and I will tell you, you will be more effective. Even when you do need to have creative time or time just to think, go ahead and determine that. That might be a high priority for you. Sometimes it is for me. And I will actually block that time and say, you know what, I've got 2 hours to think creatively, to do some creative work. And having that block of time actually frees my mind. I don't have to be distracted by all the other things that I'm thinking about that need to be accomplished today, because I've already blocked that time. It's dedicated, and it's okay. I can use that time for that without distraction. If you're gonna make any real progress in your life, any real progress in your career, any real progress in the relationship, you simply can't have excuses of not scheduling time for that. I always like the Dr. Phil quote where he says, how's that working out for you? In the next video, I'm gonna talk about, really it's an extra tip. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this notebook design that I use that will help you to capture all the thoughts and all the notes and really everything that you need to capture throughout your day so you don't forget things. Go to ChristopherRJones.com and you can find more information about prioritizing.